think that is, to me, the NFT space is it's just a game changer for so many different things. But I think mostly I'm interested in learning about all the new ways that artists can connect with their fan base. And Web3 in the NFT space is such an innovative and expansive way for fans to really feel like they're investing in an artist and to get and to just really get a lot of value beyond just consuming the music.
Beautiful. Well, I want to welcome everybody to WhyWeb3 Music Tech Connect live from New York City. We are getting ready for NFT NYC, where the bands, the brands, the musicians, the artists, the connectors, and the curious are coming together here in New York City. So we're just gearing up. We have some movers and shakers from all around the globe. I looked up and saw Benny Pacala's smiling face, and I realized it was just his profile pic. So he's getting ready to get things set up behind the scenes for our breakout rooms. So if you're watching, whether you're watching on the YouTube, on a recording right now, or you're live with us, we're just honored to have you here. Things are moving and changing, and you cannot always go off the headlines. You cannot always trust the headlines. So decentralization is more of a trustless decentralization, the concept of trustless, without having to have the middleman. So, but real relationships take real trust. And that's what we're seeing. We have right here on our mover and shaker spotlight, we have a few real key people who's going to kick it off with some introductions and why Web3 with us. Why Web3? What is Web3? It's a great place to find out and see where you fit, whether it's as a puzzle piece in somebody else's puzzle or bringing together puzzle pieces for your puzzle. I'm Brandon David, Director of Community at Krypton Labs, co-host of Music Tech Connect, and founder of Grassroots Communication Technologies, and a few other really cool collaborations with people like William T. Broussard, who are on the call, and some other amazing collaborators. Honored to have you here in the mix. Why Web3? One, who are you, and why Web3? Andrew Schiffman.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you all. Thanks for having me. Andrew Schiffman, Londoner in New York. Been in the music entertainment space for over 20 years, working programming strategy and artist relations, companies like MTV and Vivo and UMG and a bunch of startups. Been in the Web3 space almost 3 years, working business development and artist relations around the music space. And, I love Web3. I feel like it has a lot of opportunities for increasing revenue and everything from smart contracts, which are really important in this space, to be able to have those certain integrated touch points kind of divvy out and basically, ignite the NFT drop. The reward system is massive in this space, building community and ownership, digital identity, everything. So looking forward to being here, speaking at NFT NYC this week. So looking forward to meeting whoever's going to be out there.
Beautiful. Mark Cianci.
Good afternoon and evening, depending on where you are. It's great to be with everyone. And I show up in New York tomorrow, and I'm excited to be with as many people in person at NFT NYC as I can make happen. I am an attorney, and I am a litigator and strategic counselor for a variety of clients, but more recently have developed a very heavy concentration in serving Web3 clients, including developers and users of various digital assets, as well as investors in digital assets, and have had great success in terms of finding out where the key growth areas are, plugging myself in there and learning about those growth areas, and then most importantly, helping those growers grow more quickly, more effectively, more robustly, and importantly, in a manner that tries to protect against unmitigated risk, including legal and regulatory risk. I'm always inspired when I come to these meetings to hear about what so many of the innovators and entrepreneurs and artists and other key contributors are doing, and I get a lot of energy from that. And so I will stop and let others continue to build into that energy, but excited to see as many people as I can make work this week in New York City. It should be awesome.
Awesome, Mark. Always an honor to have you. Great connector, great trusted source person in this space. Another trusted person bridging the gap, Iman. You just heard from him if you were on the pre-show part of this. So Iman, share a little bit about who you are and what you do and why Web3.
Absolutely. For sure. Yeah. My name is Iman Button. I am the CEO and founder of Collabrats.com. It is a mix of Web2 and Web3 networking and coaching tool for musicians and other creators. So really bringing that matchmaking style, algorithmic connection to the artistic space. Looking forward to launching that towards the end of the summer. Really just started getting into Web3 within the past year or so. Basically just learning. Had a buddy of mine that was really into NFT art and made like way too much money with it for me not to pay attention to what he was doing. And I just sought to really understand how the whole thing works. So kind of dove in deep and wound up launching, creating a platform for musicians. But yeah, I just think I have so much belief in this, the decentralization of things, but more so and specifically, I honestly believe that the Web3 space is, we're on the frontier and we're the pioneers of the space, and we should really max out on what we can from a value perspective before it becomes more so industrialized, more so than it is. So happy to learn. Like I said, I'm relatively new, so I always get a bunch out of these meetings. There's some people doing such amazing things, and I always enjoy your perspective. So thanks for having me.
Beautiful. Before we go into our first panel, I'm going to do a couple other brief intros and also make sure our main recording is on. Thanks to Benny Pacala, Head of Development at Krypton Labs. Anybody who knows Benny knows he's a big blessing to this whole scene, especially the whole Miami community, virtual community, and so much more. Benny Pacala, what's up, man? So with that being said, we're going to do a couple more intros. Feel free to drop a link in the chat. We'll also have a survey towards the end of this here for you to answer, some ways that we can follow up, make some connections. We have some invite-only super connects coming up later in the month, and some social capital accelerators, some actually well-rounded accelerators connected with Krypton Labs that we can share with too. So feel free to share your link. But before we go into our panel discussion, we want to give another opportunity to show a couple more intros. Brief to the point. Jason McIntyre, share a little bit about what you're doing with Noom and WhyWeb3.
Well, I am planning some events. Right now we're in the middle of figuring out our strategy of what we want to do, especially since we last weekend or on last Friday just kind of launched our new record store in partnership with Six City. So it kind of changed the game a little bit. So we're kind of going back to the drawing board and trying to figure out what we're going to do next for our events. But we have a lot planned, and it's really awesome to kind of sit in these chats to hear a lot more of what's going on, especially NFT New York. I would love to hear more. And that's about it. So, and why I'm Web3. It's funny. I was walking the dog with my 10-year-old today, and we walked the dog for an hour and a half, and that's all we talked about. So it's the future. I mean, he was very curious. He thought it was an amazing idea. He loved it. And I think that generation is going to take this to new places. So that's why. Thanks.
Awesome, Jason. Another person, he's notorious for his role at Unstoppable Domains, one of the great business developers in this space. One of his biggest problems that he has to solve is the vision that he sees and how to bring all the puzzle pieces together. So just want to give Bennett Phillips an opportunity to share a little bit what he's working on and why Web3.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Yeah, I'm Bennett. As Brandon mentioned, I was part of Unstoppable Domains for about a year and a half, working on digital identity, opened my eyes in a number of ways, learned a ton, met a lot of people. Now working for a digital entertainment company that's in both Web 2 and Web 3 called Macroverse. Currently focused on digital comic books, but big plans to do all kinds of other digital media as well. That's macroverse.com if you want to check it out. And why Web3? To me, it's about, the next stage of evolution of what can happen with our digital lives, basically. And so I mentioned digital identity, but now I'm in more of the world of fun. And I think all of you are too, given most people are in music. To me, like digital entertainment right now, primarily we pay for access to things, but we don't get to own them. We just got to pay monthly, subscribe to everything all the time. And I think the future is going to be much more open to the opportunity of owning digital items instead of just paying to be allowed to use them, like you see happen in video games right now with skins and weapons and all sorts of things, and like Fortnite or all these different popular games. People are already paying for digital items in those games. They just don't actually own them. They might feel like they do, but they don't actually. So yeah, I guess that's, for me, that's the reason, is it's about digital ownership. Glad to be here.
Awesome, Bennett. It's an honor to have you. We're going to kick off this panel discussion. Actually, you stay right where you're at, Bennett. I'm bringing up a couple people to kick this thing off as I go with the flow here. And awesome. Now, real briefly, we didn't get the intro from Lisa, but Lisa, if you could share a little bit about who you are and what you're working on.
Hi, Brandon. Well, my name is Lisa Huron. I am a city leader for Founders Live here in Austin, Texas. And I met Brandon. He invited me in so that I could hear a little bit more learn more about Web3, what you guys have going on in the industry. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We were actually at a pitch. We've had the opportunity to really begin to build in Austin, Texas. We believe it's one of the music tech capitals of the world. And Lisa, we were able to connect at the Capitol Factory during a pitch night, and tell us a little bit about the events that you're throwing, kind of the ideas of what you have in store for Founders Live, Austin, Texas, being it's a music tech entertainment hub, and some of the infrastructure you've seen there, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure. Well, Founders Live is really we've kind of turned a global modernization of networking. And so what we've created is we're doing events where we allow companies to come in and do a pitch competition. So we choose 5, give them 99 seconds to share their pitch. And we give them help through the process of how to build their pitch and how to, present that to the group. We do have networking from all over, so it's a nice variety crowd, and we're kind of casual, but we do create an environment of just come out and just share your ideas with others. And in that process of networking with each other, ideas are better created. I've seen it happen where some people, their ideas will just come to life, and all of a sudden, the light bulb kicks off and they get to, share in that experience with someone else who's trying to work on something. And so they can build a team, better team dynamic, I should say, and meet new people. So it's quite often. It's quite nice. So we create the event, we bring in food, drinks, and we're trying to create a space where we can also bring in some entertainment possibly, to just kind of share in the Austin dynamic.
Amazing. Amazing. So for all our friends who are in Miami, get ready because Austin, so it's that Austin, Miami, Nashville connection that's happening. There is a huge event tomorrow in Miami if you're there with from the government, private sector, that Benny will share a link at too if you're in the Miami area. So it's an honor just to have some amazing people in the event space, in the Web3 space, regardless whether I believe people know where they they fit with the emerging technology. It's important. Hospitality is always a necessity, right? So there's always a place in the event space, I think, to cater to emerging communities and being able to bring people together. And hospitality has a way of helping people belong before they understand. So speaking of that, Matt Matlack's part of some cool stuff during NFT NYC with Project Zero. And just if you could share a little bit about, being a brand that's bridging the gap between a third world nation and a first world nation, why coming to an NFT NYC and teaming up with Project Zero on an event standpoint? I mean, just making sure you're in the mix. Why is that so important, Matt?
Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, I think if you're here right now, you understand that collaboration and community is where it's at. And every time I hear people that have been involved in Web3 for any period of time, community seems to be the thing that gets talked about. And at the end of the day, we are just longing, we're humans that are longing to connect. We're longing to be known, and so I think it's one of the reasons why something like NFT NYC is important, but it's big. And so where do you go? Who do you meet? And I'm pretty good at just finding my way and making connections and rolling with the flow. Not everyone is, but I realized that to be more targeted, I want to try to surround myself with people that have similar values. For me, everything I do in life, I'm trying, I guess I want to leave this world better than it was when I got here, if at all possible. It's kind of like you go to the park, we'll leave it better than you find it. You go to the beach, we'll leave it better than you find it. And so that's what I'm trying to do. And Project Zero is an amazing organization. They've been around for a few years now, getting into the Web3 space, and they are really helping protect the world's oceans. Coral reefs are a huge part of what they are doing, but it's not just coral reefs, even though the coral reefs are one of the most important factors of the oceans and the world. So if you don't know much about coral reefs, please look into that and learn more about it, and because we're losing them at huge numbers. But I have similar values to them, and they are helping countries like the Bahamas that I have a personal connection with. And so that just kind of escalates them in my eyes, of someone that I really want to be doing things with. And so I'm really thrilled to be a part of the event that they have going on, also with Babs Labs. And so they're movers and shakers in the space as well, doing things at all the conferences. And I guess the connection between first world and third world, I really I want to believe that we're one world, but I realize there's so many things in between with regards to opportunities that people may have depending on the country that you're from, and just what's happening with your government and the organizations there, and the politics that might be involved, whether it be political parties or just other types of politics that are impacting things. And I can see a pretty clear vision of how my project can have a very substantial impact on what's happening in the Bahamas in regards to the stray dogs. And the thing that I'm so excited about with that is how the dogs are, I love dogs. I got 2 pot cakes sitting right here. with me, and that's who we're rescuing and saving from down there. But it just starts with the dogs, and it's so much bigger than that. So we have a dozen artists from the Bahamas that are part of our project now that we're bringing with them through their artwork to NFT NYC. We're going to be sharing them. And I'm hoping maybe one or two might be on this call tonight, even because we're bringing in some musicians as well. If you're out of Miami, you may know an artist named Padrino. He is a Bahamian that is now based out of Miami. So talking with him, he's knows about Web3 and things like that, but is not fully on board yet, because this can take, you got to learn about it, you know. It's also scary. I mean, people just think, well, am I giving away all my rights and stuff? It's like, you already gave away all your rights. That was Web2, you know. We're trying to get them back, you know. But anyway, I could talk on and on forever about that. So thanks for letting me share here, Brandon, David. And please reach out to me if you got any questions about what I'm doing. If you know someone that would want to be a part of what we're doing. And please connect with me if you're going to be in New York.
Awesome. Amazing. I posted the link to WhyWeb3 with a 3.xyz. That'll get you some information on the NFT NYC event coming up Thursday night in Brooklyn. It's going to be phenomenal. I heard Keith Richards' daughter, Alexandra, is DJing. We have some cool collabs coming together, great panel discussions from 4:30 to 6:30. So reach out or just check out that event, the link or the event link within that website if you're going to be in town, and reach out direct. Speaking on the event side, John Blackwell, you know, you've had an opportunity to experiment out in Bosnia. DJing, we have some cool collab.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, so if you could
Yeah,
share
but-
and make sure getting an echo. John Blackwell, you know, you had an opportunity.
What was the echo?
Yeah, let's see. We'll try it one more time, and then if not, we'll just save it for the after party. All right. Yeah, share a little bit about what you just came back from Germany. You took a Web3 hip-hop. Right, we're gonna actually we will wait for the after party on that. All right. Cool. We'll wait. When we don't have any technical difficulties, feel free to share. But I know what I can share about with Blackwell, what he's been working on. You know, he went out, experimented on some Web3 style events featuring fashion, art, music out in Bosnia. And then it's helped artists advance even in Germany and other parts of the world. So, you know, you can't always go off the headlines on what's making an impact, because people are carving out their own niche in this space. And I'd love for Bennett to talk a little bit about the future of art, music, hip hop, why Web3 matters, and the technology is paving the way for those content creators and producers.
Yeah, so God, I mean, from my perspective, it has to do with. I wonder if somebody's like watching the live stream. And it's playing through their audio. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it really stems from the artist to fan or collector or whatever, like direct interaction possibilities. You know, most industries, but maybe the worst of them all that have just that rampant kind of middleman category is entertainment. And, you know, the more things that can be done direct between artists, whether it be musicians or in the case of the stuff I'm working on now, comic book creators and illustrators, writers, etc., where they can build a following. What happens is instead of having to grow like a following of 1 million people plus on YouTube or something, just to make even a reasonable income off of your work, but most of the money actually goes to YouTube. Instead, all you need is really maybe like a few hundred loyal fans who want to continue supporting you. And there's already great stuff out there that exists that we don't need Web3 for, like Patreon, you know, or Kickstarter or stuff like that. And I think those things will remain, and I think they're certainly still important to have. To me, the cool thing about Web3 or blockchain or whatever word we want to use for it is the openness of it. And so again, I'll just circle back to my world, which is digital comics. And you could do a Kickstarter, and some people have done very successful Kickstarter campaigns where they self-published a story and got it out there to their fan base. And some of them even sold like hundreds of thousands of copies of these things or more. But that's kind of where it ends when you do it that way. When it's on the blockchain, it becomes this permissionless experience where if the community wants to get involved and start, making things in collaboration with that artist, it's all open, right? So you could, for example, someone could make like a game inspired by, the comic, that you can access the game. And if you are holding the token, the NFT of the comic, then you unlock special access to certain areas, or what have you. And that's all just, again, open and permissionless. It doesn't have to be this rigorous process of corporations, getting involved. And there's IP law stuff to figure out in there as well. But a lot of these kind of creator communities will just play off of what each other have built. And it's kind of this neat, like in real time, building atmosphere that's, it's enabled by the blockchain. So I think that's a huge part of it is both collaboration as well as direct fan interaction that supports artists, or allows the fans to support the artist directly.
Yeah, that's good. Matt, like, you want to touch on that?
I'm sorry, what was that?
And you want to piggyback on that a little bit?
I missed it. I'm sorry. I was typing a message.
All right. Well, everybody's don't worry. You got enough deposits in the bank that your withdrawal there isn't affecting your account too much. But you know what, guys? I think as long as Benny Pacala's got the room set up, I want to take this. It's a little bit more of an intimate event tonight, and it's really cool to have Lisa in the mix also, just because she's empowering so many startups and founders in Austin and part of a greater community. And then also having people like Benny Pacala, who's doing a similar thing in Miami and across the globe virtually. See Matt, I forget if it's Bowens or how to say your name, but I've seen you in the LinkedIn world and know you're making moves in the music space. So we have people in this room, Jason McIntyre, Iman, we got Noted Media, Rockin' Jamari. I mean, we have some very highly influential and collaborative people in the mix. Andrew Schiffman, Bennett, all the people in here pretty much are vetted heavy hitters, and some that actually do the vetting, like our friend Christina at Continuum Marketplace, doing some amazing things. So I just want to give everybody an opportunity to network, connect, WhyWeb3, share that in the group, give a brief 30-second intro, y'all, and spend some time getting to know y'all. Get ready for the breakout rooms. Lisa, it's an honor to have you, honor to have everybody in the room here. So we're heading to the breakout rooms. Ready, Benny, we good? We have any?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. If you have any tech issues, you can always come back to the main room, message one of the hosts, and off we go.
Awesome.
See everybody on the
3, 2, 1, hey.
All right, off we go. Off we go.
Beautiful.
And I believe that will leave us as the co-hosts. So now
Perfect.
we choose which rooms we want to join. So Will, up you as well.
I got you. I see
double
it.
check, because I just realized I forgot to set the time on the breakouts.
12 minutes.
So no, we've just we've got 8 minutes. Perfect. We got 8 minutes. So
Okay.
we could leave them open too if you wanted to leave them open longer than 8 minutes.
Cool.
I mean, actually, it's probably good to let me know now. How long do we want them to go? Because we can keep them
See if
open
you
for
can put
8.
it to 12. Can you change it to 12?
I can't change it, but what I can do is I can keep them open when it ends.
Okay.
So we can keep it.
Keep it, if anything, just keep it open for an extra minute or two, and then we'll keep it cooking, and we'll probably get an extra breakout session today.
Sounds good. But yeah, I mean, I'll dive in myself. So yeah, if you click the breakout rooms button, and then you can go in and choose one. So
Maybe while I got you here and we get this on recording, man, there's an epic event in Miami, Future Tech Miami, happening tomorrow. And it would not be wise on my part to not highlight the work that you've put in especially on this one. Tell us a little bit about what's happening in Miami tomorrow evening.
We got a happy hour. We got the ACT App Association. So they advocate for tech small businesses and startups. Completely free to join. Absolutely recommend it. I've been a member for years. Introduced me to a lot of great people, a few senators. Pretty cool how many people can do that for free. Amazing organization, really quality people. Hosting an event in Miami at Cerveceria La Tropical in Wynwood. The URL to join, if you just search futuretech.miami. You can also go to Future Tech. Oh, let me just check. Future Tech Miami -ACT. So ACT App Association .eventbrite.com, and you can find it there. And you're muted, Brandon David, but it's gonna be a great event. So we'll see everybody there. Yep, Brandon David, we can't hear you. Your mic's off.
Well, we will see you on the other side of the breakout rooms. If you are in Miami, get with Krypton Labs, Benny Pacala. Amazing stuff happening. Had heard that the mayor's office might even be there also. So always an honor. And the best is still ahead. See you on the other side of the breakouts.
Hands down. All right, off we go.
Yes, sir. Awesome. All right, Benny. Cool, beautiful. I just wanted to stay on this live here for anybody watching and just share a little bit of the journey between Miami, Austin, Nashville, Cleveland, and beyond. I see Mozart Lewis jumping on here while the breakout rooms are going on. And he's not only working at one of the top tech companies in the world, helping lead a team of who knows how many hundreds or thousands of people and how many millions of lives he's impacting. I believe he just went into the breakout rooms. And you never know who's going to be in these rooms. And even more, what I want to say is you never know who's going to be on the Super Connect. So if you'd like to connect and be part of this growing community, we have different services and ways that we can collaborate. So don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach out at musictechconnection@gmail.com, musictechconnection@gmail.com. I'm going to plan on going into one of the breakout rooms. Let's see. I think I'm going to join this one right here. So see you on the other side. God bless. Hey, I'm here getting ready. People are getting ready to come in from the breakout rooms. It's been cool. I was able to hop in on one, but while we're waiting, wanted to give an opportunity for Mozart Lewis to share a little bit about his NFT music project that he's working on.
Hey, what's up, Brandon?
Hey, always an honor. Fresh from Miami. I'm here in
Yeah.
NYC right now. Had an opportunity to travel from Colorado, ATX, putting some people together there. But if you could share a little bit about what you have been working on as far as your NFT music.
Absolutely. So for those who don't know, my name's Mozart Lewis. I am a software engineer, Android developer advocate at Google. So I work primarily on Android camera in particular, actually. So anyone who talks about the Pixel phones, that is literally what I do all day. I got into the Web3 space, I want to say late 2021, where, a friend of mine who was deep into the space talked about Ethereum and how to build on top of Ethereum and, telling me about like me mixing my passion for music together with the ability to create NFTs. And at first I was one of the people who didn't really believe in it at first. But then I, got into space, started to understand it more from a technical perspective, started building things, writing smart contracts and Solidity, all the way to the point where now I've recently launched my project on OpenSea Drops. I'm actually going to paste a link here for everyone. But this is a project of 120. I might actually increase the supply because we're getting close to minting out actually, but 120 planets, and each one is a custom animation with music and music as well added on top of it. So you can actually go to the collection itself and go listen to the tracks. And this was, created by me. And one of the things that was really important about me creating these collections, it took me a long time to do this actually. And I started building on it probably March of last year, actually, up until now, finally getting it out there, out into the streets. And so now this was actually, I've been working with OpenSea's product management, doing a lot of things like that. And now, with just getting deeper into the Web3 space and ecosystem overall. And actually now, this is my first project in releasing, and now actually getting in the tangible hand and experience on like, what does it take to launch a project, especially when it comes up to music? Because as we know, music is one of those things that is a niche. It depends on who you are, whatever the case is. But, as you get deeper into the ecosystem and you want to build out solutions, some of the things that I want to do are much larger, like even to the point of where NFTs can become somewhat of, and we've had platforms that are doing this, but I want to do the end-to-end chain where it's like, for instance, you're releasing a song onto Web2 platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, but your NFT holders would get a share of revenue directly. And I'm talking about this not at the super label level, but at the level of like a DistroKid, for instance. So distributing through like a DistroKid and then having NFTs automatically collect royalties converted to ETH and sent to addresses of NFT holders, things like that. But that's kind of just a short gist of the project. It's really cool music. If you go listen to some of it, and none of it is generative, right now. It's pretty much hand composed within my studio and creating that. So definitely excited to see this getting minted now. And hopefully you guys definitely check it out.
Beautiful. Hey, we're in the midst of an artist spotlight with Mozart Lewis, rocking from the tech scene to the Miami music, really the global music scene and what you've been able to do. And just want to give anybody an opportunity if they have any questions on what it takes to, and I'll ask that first question. If anybody else has any questions for Mozart, what does it really take planning wise to have a successful launch?
One of the biggest things I've learned is that you have the first part, at least in this space as it is currently. When I talk about today, I'm talking about April 10th, 2023. A lot of sediment in terms of the blockchain and the crypto world. It's very iffy, the financial system, all these different things. And so a lot of NFT projects have been struggling. Why? Because there's just not as much liquidity. A lot of people have been burned in the NFT space already. And so even for this project, to get to this 98 number, this didn't just all happen today. This is over time, once again, still marketing to people, pushing it out. One of the biggest things is that a lot of projects right now have this ideology in which they need to sell out immediately. Like this needs to be, you need to get on the thing and then 1 hour later, it needs to all be gone. And if it's not, people will then come and look at your project and be like, oh, well, then I'm scared. I'm not going to really invest into this. I'm not going to really jump into this because if I do, then what is my return going to be? Because a lot of people have been telling me that, hey, it's only, flippers and they call them degens who are still in the space, still trying to stay relevant. And to that effect, I actually say, I don't believe that, me personally. And I think that that's one of the key things you need to do in this space right now is not succumb to the pressures of the external people saying it needs to be done this specific way or else it's not going to be successful, right? You as an artist or a project manager or whatever the case is for an NFT project needs to set the standard of what you define success to be. And for me, I have at least 70 people who have gone, checked out the project deeply to understand and see the value, to see the music, to hear it, to understand the utility, and then go mint, right? And those are the people that I actually want within the community versus the average, person who can make a profit. They can go, I've seen some people already sell some of theirs and make some profits, right? But what I want is to actually build a community of people, right, within this kind of project. And I think that one of the things that ends up happening a lot in this space is that people kind of, they just go where they see the Ethereum flowing, but they don't necessarily go and deeply check out projects. And so it's kind of like you just cannot quit. Like literally within this space, you cannot quit and you can't succumb to the pressures. That's number one. Number two, I think having all of your ducks in a row is one of the best things you can do, but it's not the only thing you can do. Because what ends up happening is I thought I had everything allotted correctly. I was just like, I have it this way. I have everything set up. Everything's ready for go and launch. And then, like I said, launch day comes, things are going well, but then, there's like a spike in mints and then it slows down a little bit. And then as soon as it slows down, people are like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm scared. Did I just lose my, and then they start to feel, and I'm just like, no, guys, you're getting into this project because you see the value and you like the music. That's one of the biggest things. And the future plans and the goals that we have as a community to especially with the concept of space. Like I recently just came from the Kennedy Space Center here in Florida, and it was an amazing experience, right? And it just gave me more inspiration on some of the next things that I want to do. But, right, you have to take that time to really do the research to even get to that point. And so I would just say, don't give up, right? Because this space, there's so much unknowns and so many people in it that are afraid that they can kind of impede on your success if you're not being careful because you're worried about what other people are going to think. And then the second thing I would say is definitely focus on that community building piece, because that's one of the most important pieces in this industry right now.
Amazing. Well, having a veteran from the music business on this call and somebody who's in the emerging tech scene already and helping pave the way on the music side. Andrew, would love to get your thoughts if you have any questions or insights on what Mozart's working on and how artists can advance their music in the Web3 space.
Yeah, something I noticed early on in this space was, as you've mentioned, cash grabs and flipping. Now I see the space being more affordable for fans and potentially collections being more open-ended, or you're kind of having a cap for a time period. So maybe like, 48 hours, whatever it is.
Yep.
So I see communities being built because we're not trying to exclude anyone from being part of that community.
Yeah.
And so, those are things I've, thought about, because coming into this space when Blau was selling an album for 6 million, 11 million, whatever it was. And I'm like, but that's just to one person, right? How can you feed your community and make everyone be part of your kind of, your work? So is that something that you're kind of thinking of, like, bringing in as many people? Obviously you can have various tiers with various utilities, but music is, since streaming's been around, to the Web2 world, music's pretty much free. So how can you make music valuable again outside of just the audio, right?
Absolutely. I think that, as you kind of, just like you said, a lot of music nowadays has become marketing, right? You go on TikTok, you listen, people don't just, it's not like back in 1980s or 1990s where people walked around and with headsets and that was the experience. That was the entertainment, right? You have so much more to look forward to. And so even in a collection, like for instance, in this one of the key things, there's a couple of things actually that I did. It's not just the audio, right? It's the music, the artwork, the animation work, also the ability to claim a metal poster and a digital frame, or a digital frame as part of the process. So you're actually feeling like you got something out of it, right? So like literally almost creating a full experience instead of just focusing on the audio. The audio is cool, like you said, but like you said, music has become virtually free nowadays. And so how do you create more value as part of a situation of something like this? And one of the key things that at least I've tried to do is, as a person is coming into this project, you could think of it like this. You love the concept of, for instance, because my concept is space. What does space sound like now? Anyone who knows space, because I'm a big space nerd, you don't have actual sound in space. There's no air to actually vibrate particles and frequencies. So what would space sound? It's much more of a creative point of view kind of situation instead of anything that's actually factual. But in creating something like that, then taking the community that gets built, because it takes time, right? And that's kind of like to the point I was trying to allude earlier. Like, I'd rather have a quality 100, 200, because this is the first collection I've ever started. So starting off with a quality 100 and 200 people who really believe, who understand, right? Starting that strict fan base. I don't know if anyone knows about this 4 tiers of a fan, but you have the people who are not interested, then you have the people who are curious, and the people that like you, and then the people that love you, right? And so it's better to have 100 people that love you than 1,000, 10,000 people who are just kind of watching, right? Because then they're not converting. They're not the people that are actually going to push, right? Or bring the community to a higher level. And so one of the things I'm doing is like taking just the music, right? And the concept of space to start off with, but taking it further than just, like you said, the audio. It's like, I want people to understand the concept and actually love, to be honest, me as a person, right? You want people to be affiliated and connected to your brand more than they are just the actual product that you make, because they will then come back and buy more of the products you make if they like you, the brand, right? And so that's one of the biggest things. Like in this space, you'll notice a lot of people don't even show their face. A lot of people are behind these PFPs, these big projects, and you don't know what they look like, where they're from, why they're from, their history, their story. You don't know anything about them. And so when they do kind of just rug pull, for instance, or flip a project, then it's kind of just like, oh, who is this? What happened? We can't even hold anyone accountable, right? And so I think that one of the biggest things that's going to happen, or you're going to see in this space, as I've been seeing recently, is that some of the people that are going to win are going to be people who show themselves as an actual, genuine, true person, actual, genuine, true artist. Because then I have someone I can actually look to and like, and also hold accountable to keep you to your promises that you've made towards a project or a situation. And that'll actually build a community that now loves you more than the superficial, I see you on the internet, I buy your NFT, and I'm part of like a community of people that I've never even seen or interacted with.
Yeah, I mean, I've been following this, since Twitter and Clubhouse, and obviously COVID, your identity is hidden by, no one, apart from us. This is really the only Zoom kind of collective I'm in. So everything else is Twitter, and for an artist not to be visible is a missed opportunity. There's a new platform coming out called Schiller, which is co-founded by Snoop, and that's based on live video commerce. So it's live streaming on the blockchain where you can incorporate your NFT projects from other platforms.
Oh, wow.
So that giving, the visuals back to the artist to showcase their work, whether they're performing or just having an AMA, I think is important.
It's good. It's good. I want before we go into our next breakout session, just want to give Nathan Coy from Wartime Leadership. I know I could hear as you guys were talking, I could just see him steaming with something to say here.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let me tell you. So Mozart, the first time that I met you and we were talking in a forum like this, you were just starting out with this, and just hearing the music and how you as a composer and what you have put into each of these pieces, this is a little bit of you in each person that they're getting from you. And so you have invested into them as a person, not just for their viewing pleasure to be able to see an NFT, but rather to hear what you see when you see that. And people can start to grab that compassion. They can start to grab that care out of it. Andrew brought up a really good point with, used to somebody sold an entire album to whomever, and now they have fractionalization of real estate, where now you can go in and actually buy an entire piece of, an actual physical building. And then from that fractionalization, you start to make money off of it. And so in a sense, that's kind of, where this NFT is, where that little piece of that song, that little piece of who you are is then, given to somebody else for their enjoyment, for their holding on to and whatnot. So I absolutely love your project, and just being able to pull it up and listen to what's out there is amazing, because it is truly you, Mozart, when you look at it. The name rings true. We'll say that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And that's kind of like, it's funny you say that. That's what I wanted. I want people to listen and feel, right? And, at least for me, I've seen other music NFT projects made, for instance. And I've even myself as an artist, I've released a song on Catalog.works, for instance, as a platform, right? But I hadn't seen much projects at a full total capacity of like actual, similar to like these PFP collections that have an X amount of NFTs actually embody or do something at the scale of let's compose. Like I've composed literally, I think 77 different pieces, some varying, like in the NFTs themselves, they're only 30 seconds, but the full compositions range anywhere between 1 minute and 30 and 3 minutes. And that took about a year for me to do, right? And just, while they say nowadays sweat equity doesn't really matter for some of these kind of projects, I think for what I've done, for what I've been trying to do, and like you said, the piece of me that's coming out, I've tried to put it all into this collection, right? And as a way. And, just for you to go and listen and feel like I can hear that, that's exactly the kind of feeling that I want people to go into this project, listening, looking, seeing the different kind of textures as to like, whoa, he saw this and composed this, which is exactly what was happening, right? And so making that correlation and making things, just a deeper connection. And I think that's what that's what this industry needs a lot of. And I think a lot of people get scared, right? A lot of people are there for the cash opportunity and whatever the case may be. And so they don't put as much effort. I mean, if you go on OpenSea right now and look at some of the top projects, you can tell that there's not really a lot of effort put into it, right? You can kind of see that a lot of them are just, let's be big movers. They've done this before. So a lot of it's the same people in the background, just generating more and more income. And even for my project to survive even a little bit in an environment like this has been shocking to me personally.
Yeah, and it's really weird because it's like, how much do you value yourself and your music being put in there? I think it's priced appropriately, right? Like, a lot, 0.1 E. I'm seeing, but it's weird to have to put a price on that piece of you going out.
Right. I've had people, I've been in several AMAs, right? And I've had so many of the people be like, well, it's really cool. It actually is like kind of worth it, but I'm afraid, man, because the way the industry is, right? And that's what I was talking about earlier. Some of that macro, some of the things above me as a person trying to do something in the space, some of the macro and like, hey, like, just there's no more collectors left. It's all degens and flippers and this and that, and you're gonna have a hard time. I had so much negativity just thrown my way the whole time, right? And I'm just like, wow, if I actually sat here and just listened to everything that everyone said, I would fold under the pressure, like many people have. I would probably be like, dang, maybe I need to do something different, or maybe I wasted my time doing this. But I think that in just being a perseverer, in setting routes, in making smart business moves, there was more in this collection, but I said, okay, let me start off smaller, right? Let's reduce it just a little bit, right? Start doing some marketing things and never stopping, right? I think that's the other thing. A lot of people expect once you don't mint out, if you don't if it doesn't all sell out in one big shebang, oh, this is failed, we're done doing this, you're kind of dead in the water. But no, I just kept marketing. I kept going. I kept calling my friends who were not Web3 initiated, and I initiated them to Web3 myself, right? It's just literally just that kind of like hustle piece started to come out and just like, hey, check this out, see the value. And a lot of people ended up reaching out to me. It's just like, listen, I want to try, but this is actually complicated. Web3 is complicated. What is a MetaMask? What is Coinbase Wallet? Why do I need ETH? Why is it telling me that it's going to take 7 days for me to get my ETH? A lot of these things were happening during the time, right? And onboarding, and even that as a industry, I wish we had something, which I know people are working on, but that layer ahead of like the raw, have your ETH wallet, I have a ledger, all that good stuff, just to make it convenient for other people and people who are not as tech savvy as probably everyone in this room is.
That's good. Well, I want to give Iman an opportunity from Collaborates just to set the tone for us as we go into this next breakout session. Ladies and gentlemen, we just had Mozart Lewis, artist spotlight, true tech musician, leading the way on one of the biggest companies in the world, and then also leading a grassroots movement in music that's not touching the masses right now. It's touching real influencers, real people, and real lives. So Iman, just want to get your thoughts there, and if you could set the tone as we go into this next breakout session. This is that direct connect zone, so let's hear it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. I think that, so many good insights there, you know what I mean? I think one of the coolest things, Bennett touched on it, Mozart, you touched on it, and it's really, we know that consumers are trying to get value, but artists and creators can also get value out of fans as opposed to followers. You know what I mean? People investing you as opposed to people consuming your things for free. And I think that's one of the most amazing things about the Web3 space, and you touched on it beautifully, was that you don't need, 1 million followers and 10 million streams, and nor necessarily is that what you want all the time, because people are investing in you in this thing, and you're able to provide and motivated to provide so many things to the Web3 and NFT space when people are investing in you, as opposed to just a purely transactional consumerist type of vibe with your art. It's a piece of you, right? And I think that, yeah, you can have a couple hundred people. I'd rather have 200 investors than 1 million followers, you know what I mean, at any given day in the week, because the investors are with me and they're really believing in what I'm doing. And yeah, this space is just perfect for that. It's so ripe for that, because you can include other things within the music. I think something else that you said, Mozart, that I really liked is that you always hear about the just like anything, man. It's not just with music, it's with the market, it's with whatever the next big thing is. You always love to hear about the instant success stories. And it's been so much normalized in the Web3 space that, oh, this guy did an NFT project, it sold out in like 43 seconds and this. And so what people tend to equate those things with the actual value of the project. But I think people that are really appreciating your art, and if you're able to share your story with them, then they realize how long this takes. You can't expect something to take you a year and some change in the making to suddenly make you an instant, success and 10 minutes of it being for sale. And so it's important that people understand that part of the journey, so they don't normalize the quickness with the sale of the actual success of the project. That's just one of the allures within. I don't think that's unique to the Web3 space. I think that you'll find that with anything, you know what I mean? If you're trying to get rich quick, there's 1 million people telling you 1 million different ways to do it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that what they're doing is valuable. So hearing Nathan's comments about what your music and what your project is super encouraging, because it's like, no, that people take the time to appreciate these things, and they want to invest in you as an artist in a world where we can literally consume any and everything that we want, as much as we want, for free. So you're not really looking for fans. It's not like you're trying to sell CDs. You're trying to get people to invest in you, who you are, and what you're about. And that's how you get customer loyalty. I mean, in any business, that's how you'll get customer loyalty. In this space, you can be very successful with that.
Awesome. Well, you've been participating in the 21 irrefutable laws of influence. The Lead Yourself, Lead Your Community More Than a Mastermind. It's been such an honor to have you, William T. Broussard, and so many others with Claudia 1 Million. And, personal growth is so important in this space, because if you're going to not depend on middlemen that you deem now not so necessary, you have to be able to lead. You have to be able to lead yourself. Like Mozart was saying, like, you can't let other people, you got to be confident enough and have an inner circle strong enough to not let other people's opinions or ignorance impact your movement. So it's been an honor. So we're going in. So set the tone for us, Iman. We're going into a super connect here that's going to set us up for the rest of the month. We encourage people to book at least 1 or 2 one-on-ones. Don't try to reach out to everybody. You'll probably get an invite to another one of these that we'll have in a couple weeks. And also, we try to bring the community together in different ways, but in person and virtual events. So with that being said, set us up for the topic for the Super Connect, even 1 or 2 words that you feel like resonate for the breakout rooms to discuss.
All right. I'd say as we go into these breakout rooms, I think the focus, as you're listening to projects and you're listening to what people are doing, think about what you can give before you think about what you can get. 9 times out of 10, it's easy to pick out the things that would benefit us and our projects and our lives and whatever we're dealing with when we're listening to folks. But one thing that I found to be very successful is to flip that on its head, truly engage and actively listen to people's projects and what they're doing, and think, what if you were going to just contribute to that project for nothing, what were the things within your skill set that you could add, and then set those meetings up and start it off there.
Iman collaborates. He ain't the CEO for nothing, y'all. Benny Pacella, Krypton Labs, head of development. Send us off.
Off we go, everybody. All right, you know the rules. See you on the other side. Let's do it. Let's do it. You're automatically assigned. If you have any tech issues, you might end up with us. That's fine. Cool.
Hey, I know you got to get running here in a little bit. You got a big event in Miami tomorrow. Tell us a little bit about what it's like in the day and life of head of development, co-founder of Krypton Labs.
Thank you, Brand David. I mean, Mondays and Tuesdays, you know, you work and you sleep. Those are about the two things that you do. And then you always work at least one day over the weekend. So it's good. It's great. I mean, I love it. We're hiring developers right now, all over. Anybody listening, we're hiring junior developers, we're hiring senior developers and blockchain architects, and we're hiring fractional CTOs. Hit me up if that sounds like you or somebody that you know. Benny, the Y, BENNY, at KryptonLabs.com. Krypton, it's like crypto, the AN, the end, KryptonLabs.com.
Yeah, because we like everybody in Miami gets the opportunity to get a good tan, except for the guy who works pretty much round the clock and goes to the beach when it's raining sometime, just because. So big ups.
These events are incredible. I think I will jump into a breakout room for a little while, Brand David, so I can leave you be here, or you can follow me in, but I'm going to do it.
Cool. All right. See you on the other side. See, probably in New York City coming up. So bless you, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you too.
All right. All right. To
See you
be
soon.
continued. Benny P. Kala.
We continued. All right. Oh,
All right.
and there we go.
Yes, sir. Awesome. Awesome, y'all. That's Benny Pacalla, head of development at Krypton Labs. You're catching him. You're getting to see him on here after he's probably done a marathon of putting pitch proposals together, pitch decks, to connecting, advising. The man is one of the hardest workers in tech, entertainment, in the world. He really, anybody who knows Benny, he works hard and he cares about people. So feel free to reach out. Even to myself, if you want to set up a meeting with Benny Pacalla, learn what Krypton Labs has going on with the accelerator, with the incubator services, and the ground and cloud game, NFT NYC consensus, great things happening in Miami. I'm going to take some time and join one of the rooms also. It's good to be refreshed. Reach out if you'd like to connect, and we'll see you on the other side of the breakout room. If you're going to be in New York City, reach out. If you're going to be in Austin, Texas for consensus, or you'd like to learn about our social capital accelerator program that we're getting ready to launch. First week of May, we're onboarding new clients and key community members and collaborators right now. So reach out directly, musictechconnection@gmail.com, musictechconnection@gmail.com. I'm going to go check out a breakout room. And that's about that.
Progress.
Fancy meeting you here.
Hey, where's everyone gone?
There we go. And we're back.
And we're back.
Same room.
So Lisa, you're in Austin. Where did Christina say she's from? Where's she?
Sorry, we're back apparently. My bad. I thought I was going to get to lurk in the shadows again, but we're streaming live on YouTube apparently. I am physically based up near my hometown, near Seattle, Washington.
Okay.
We also have offices in LA and Miami, and we are starting to do a bit of travel in New York and DC for policy. So things are getting interesting over at Continuum.
That's crazy. I love it. What's up, Brandon David?
Yo, yo, yo. Here in New York City, getting ready for the action.
Did you swing by Miami on the way there, or did you go straight to New York?
I've actually been in Austin. That's how, yeah, I spent 22 and a half days in Austin from South by to just staying in, hitting the meetups and getting some time. And so,
love it.
Yeah. So yeah, Austin, Texas to New York City. Less is more on this round of travels for sure.
Hey, Brandon, can I say something real quick?
Sure.
Hey, Matt, I never knew that was a window. All this time, I've never seen the shade
Over here?
this entire time. Yep.
Yeah, it's a window. It also works really good for backdrop for photos.
Oh,
I think
I saw
so.
that over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you need to make a good passport photo, it's right there, right? Yeah.
I got you. I mean, no, I don't do that. Because this is recording and it's on YouTube. No, I know.
Yeah, live from New York. Live from New York. It's Monday night live. Hey, so glad we could have Chevy Chase's grandson in the mix with Ben.
Yeah, because it was bright when we started, and I put the shade down since.
Very cool. Well, it's been a radical time in life in general, I think, for most people. So even for the past few years, meetings like this, even when we started the Music Tech Media Summit back in August 2020 to help artists and entrepreneurs pivot and pave the way for the future, these rooms have been a place of solace, a place of camaraderie, and seems like some of those people that are past their superhero space to some degree and have really dedicated their lives and legacy to helping other people shine, helping guide people through. So many of the people represented here, whether you're in a new journey of conquering a space, you've had some hits under your belt, had some wins, had some losses, had some experiences, and there's so much rich treasure of wisdom and experience on these calls. So, and like Roy, Future Man Wooten, who sends his love from the road to the crew, from the Notorious Wooten family and Bella Fleck and the Flecktones, he says, hey, they're bringing me to this space like a legend, but I'm coming to this space. He said, they're bringing me to this stage as a legend, but I'm coming to this place with the heart of a child. And John Mediana said, nobody's an expert here. When's the last time we all got to be beginners? We're all beginners here. When's the last time we all got to be beginners together as something? So with that being said, we're going into the fireside chat, y'all. I want to thank Iman, Jason, Bennett Phillips, Mark Cianci, Mozart Lewis, Andrew Schiffman, Lisa, from Founders Live, Austin, Texas, John Blackwell, Nathan Coy, Wartime Leadership, Christina from Continuum Marketplace, and so many others who couldn't be here. Bennett is here. And but we have a whole crew of people who weren't able to make it tonight. So we just want to shout out all our friends from the Krypton Labs community crew, CL and DigiWax, to Joe Van Jerry Digitracks, Renata over at Infinity Music, so many others, rich collaborators. If you would like to learn more about what we have going on behind the scenes and find some ways to connect, reach out. musictechconnection@gmail.com. That's musictechconnection@gmail.com. If you're watching live on YouTube, you would have to be on the Zoom call to be in the fireside chat. So we're signing off. Matt Matlack, give him some send off words. I think you're mute. You're mute. There you go.
And that's how time travel is possible. Did you guys all catch that? No. I like to end all my YouTube videos with these words. Remember to be the light and go out into your world and make a difference. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Yeah. So everybody else on the call, stick around. YouTube land and recording world.